Who's ready for science? Settle down, sit down. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jesus. Today for science, we will continue to learn about weather. So the objective is I can observe, record weather information. And I will begin by reading a book to you, class. What will the weather be? By Linda Dewey. What will the weather be? I need you quiet, Aiden. Thank you. The sky was gray and cloudy over Washington, D.C. on the morning of March 9, 1999. The weather forecast called for an inch or two of snow. But by noon, there was so much snow on the ground that many cars and buses were stuck in it. The airport had closed down, so did schools, and all 8 inches of snow fell on the city. The weather forecast was wrong, and people were not prepared for a huge storm. Weather forecasts can tell us what kind of weather is coming, but predicting the weather is hard to do. It is easy to see what the weather will be right now. You can go outside and look. Is the air warm or cold? Is it windy or still? Is the sky clear or is it covered with dark clouds? Whatever the weather is like, is often stays that way for days at a time. Do you remember how it looked outside this morning, Carlos? Yes, the sun was out. You're correct. But then something happened. The wind begins to blow. Air from somewhere else moves in. Sometimes it's cooler air from the north. Sometimes it's warm air from the south. The new air pushes against the old air. The place where this happens is called a front. Most changes in the weather occur along front. Where cold air pushes against the warm air, we say there's a cold front. Cold front moves fast. They can make the wind howl. They quickly push warm air up and out of the way. Raising air carries water. The water is not liquid. It's a gas called water vapor. Are you listening, Natalia? As the air raises its full and the water vapor turns into liquid, high in the sky, the drops of liquid water clumps together and make clouds. The clouds grow big and dark as more air rises. Then it rains. There are many thunders and lightning. It is cold enough, snow falls. It happens very fast. Cold fronts cause sudden storms, but they usually do not last long. After a cold front passes, the sky clears and the weather is colder. You're correct, Allison. That did happen last week. Now listen. Where warm air pushes against cold air, a warm front forms. Warm front moves slowly. They make the wind blow just a little with cloud cover the sky. There may be light showers or may drizzle for a couple of days. Warm fronts changes the weather slowly. After a warm front passes, the sky clears and the weather is warmer. Meteorologists, people who study the weather, try to predict where fronts will come from. They measure the temperature of the air at different places around the earth and find out where the warm air is and where the cold air is. A thermometer measures temperature. Do you see meteorologists on TV that tell the weather? Amy? Yes, your mom puts it in the morning. They watch to see where the air moves. They measure how fast it goes. A wind vane tells from what direction the wind blows. A anemometer measures the wind speed. A hyometer measures humidity. Meteorologists also measure the amount of water vapor or humidity in the air. Water vapor is what makes air feel damp or humid. Lots of water vapor rises from the ocean. That's why air along the coastline feels humid. Have you ever seen tools that help predict the weather? A thermometer. Yes, you're correct, Jesus. We use that. Yes. Now listen. Another thing meteorologists measure is air pressure. It's hard to imagine, but air has weight. And all this weight presses on Earth. It presses on everything, even you. Hundreds of pounds of air presses against your body all the time. You cannot feel it because air is inside your body, pushing out with the same force. Air inside the basketball pushes out too. You can bounce a ball when it has air in it. But what happens when you take the air out? The basketball flattens. It collapses from the weight out of outside air. You cannot feel air pressure. You cannot tell when it changes, but it does. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. As the air pressure changes, the weather changes. A barometer measures air pressure. Your dad has one? Oh, okay. When air pressure is low, air is rising into the sky. Water vapor in the air turns into liquid and clouds form. As more air pressure measures gets lower and lower, and the clouds get bigger and darker. Lots of rain, snow may fall when the air pressure is low. Luckily, the air pressure is high most of the time. When the air pressure is high, air is sinking towards Earth. The sky stays mostly clear. A few poofy clouds may appear, but it won't rain. The weather is dry and sunny when the air pressure is high. Meteorologists measure the air pressure over the whole Earth. They find the high and lows. They measure the temperature, humidity of the air. They see where the air is warm or cold, damp or dry. They measure the speed and direction of the wind, and they take measurements over the ocean and land. Throughout the day, the measurements are sent to the National Weather Service in Maryland. The huge computers plot measure on maps. The maps show the temperature, humidity, and pressure of the air all around the world. Arrows of the maps mark directions of the wind. Cold front and warm fronts show where the storms are forming. Meteorologists everywhere study the map. The forecast for tomorrow and the next. They need to know what is happening hundreds and hundreds of miles away. They need to know what kind of air is coming. Then they can make their forecast. Weather forecasts are sent to the radio and television stations. They are printed in the newspaper. The forecast tells us what kind of air is coming, what kind of weather is to expect. They may call for warm and sunny days or may tell us to prepare for snow and strong winds. They warn farmers when frost is coming. They help us decide whether the schools and airports should be closed down. Changes in the weather are not always predictable. It's not all a forecast all right. Sometimes meteorologists tell us to take umbrellas when we don't need them. Other times they say we won't need a jacket when we do. But meteorologists today know more about the weather than ever before. And usually we can depend on the forecast when we're wondering what will the weather be. Okay, so now that we've read this book, I want you to turn and talk. Listen, I want you to turn and talk and discuss with your partner. What was this book about? What was the author's purpose? Remember that we've been studying that books are written for different purposes. Now I want you to think in your head first, and then I'll count to 3, and then you turn and talk to your partner, okay? 1, 2, 3. Turn and talk. Ooh, I like what Jesus is telling Amy. You're correct, Elizabeth. Okay, now turn around. I want you to tell me, what was the author's purpose of this book? To inform. You're correct, Elizabeth. Air 5. Now, we're going to go over important words that we should know, okay? So like I've told you, we've been studying. And we will go briefly. So pay attention, okay? Weather is some vocabulary. Sunny, when the sun is out. Rain is another important word for weather. Hot, cloudy, windy, stormy, snow, and cold. We've already discussed those. Now, in the book, we were listening to more new words, right? We learned about the word meteorologist. We learned about thermometers. Thermometers are to check the temperature. You're correct, Aiden. We can check with the thermometer if we have fever. But in this case, we're checking for how cold or hot is outside. Okay, we talked about the rain gauge. We talked about wind vane. So the wind vane is to measure the wind direction, and the rain gauge measures the rainfall. And mostly, and most important, our eyes. Okay, our eyes are very important because as a meteorologist, and all of you, and including me, we can observe and look outside to see how the weather is. And we've already discussed the types of clouds. We've seen stratus, cumulus, cirrus, and cumulonimbus. We've learned that lowest to the ground, that it's foggy, that it covers the sky with stratus. We've learned with cumulus that they're flat at the bottom, poofy on the top, light rain or snow with those. Thick crust, they're skinny, they're highest on the sky, with or feathery look. See how it looks like feather? Then we already discussed about the tools meteorologists use because we saw them on the book, right? So now we're gonna do a KWL chart, okay? What do we know of what we've learned? Raise your hand. Let me get my expo marker. We've learned that, what, 1 second, raise your hand. We've learned about the weather. Cold, you're correct, Aiden. What else have we learned? Sunny, you're right. Just like it's today, right? Today is sunny outside. One more. Let me see, who's quiet? Carlos, tell me one more. What do we know about the weather? There are different types of clouds, right? What do we want to know? We want to know how to record, right? the information, right? What else do we want to know? We want to know, Aiden. Okay. We want to know if it's gonna rain tomorrow. One more. Jerusalem, tell us. One more. Okay, so she said, if it's gonna rain tomorrow, should we wear boots or not? That's a great question we would want to know. Okay, we're gonna leave this towards the end, okay? So now we will look at this video and I want you to go to your desk and get your your science journal, okay? And go ahead and also get your writing journal, okay? On your writing journal, go ahead and quickly write, what was the author's purpose? Find a blank space, a blank page, and go ahead and write the author's purpose of writing. We said that it was to inform, so I want you to go ahead and write that. And then I'll give you 5 minutes to write a quick summary. Then on your science journal, I want you to write the questions that have on the board so we can look at the video. Go ahead, settle down, sit down. Okay, start writing now. Okay, now that 5 minutes have passed, on your science journal, I want you to answer those questions that are on the board, okay? What is weather journal? Describe a pattern she mentioned in the video. What is a meteorologist? What do I need to record the weather? What is a thermometer? For how many days should I record a pattern? Okay, so let's quickly look at the video. Okay, now that you've looked at the video and you've answered, I've seen some, I walked around and some of you did answer most of them, but it's okay. I will go over them with you, okay? So I want you to have your journal with the questions you answered throughout the video, and I will be answering those questions along as I'm teaching. Okay, so this index cards that I'm going to be using are from last week's weather. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how would we record this information. So we're gonna go ahead and use the one that is over here. Okay. So Monday. Can everyone see? On Monday, there's a sun. There's a cloud. Can anyone tell me what type of cloud is this? Let me go ahead and choose Alejandro. What type of cloud is this, Alejandro? You're correct. Did everyone hear Alejandro? Listen, Alejandro, go ahead and repeat it. Good job. This is a cirrus cloud. And the thermometer right here shows us how hot or how cold it was. Can anyone, let me see who's quiet. Vanessa, go ahead and tell me, what does the temperature show? What is the number? 75. Great job. So let's look at this weather chart. On Monday, we're going to be looking at this. Okay. On Monday, the temperature said, this temperature is 75, just like Vanessa said, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put in the number, 75. Then we can draw a picture, the word or number, and the picture, okay? So it's fine if you record 75. Then we can go ahead and draw the sun if you want, okay? What about wind? Can you see, was there wind? Yes. Mm-hmm. Look at the symbol for wind. Now, do you understand why Jessica said there is wind? So let's put windy. Rain or precipitation. Our card does not show any type of rain. So we're gonna put 0. What about the cloud coverage? Was it cloudy? Yes, it was. We had a bit of clouds. So we're gonna go ahead and put cloudy. Okay? Let's go to Tuesday. On Tuesday, it was sunny and it was 80 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 80 degrees and put a sun because it seems like it was very hot. 80 is hot. And there's no wind, there is no rain, and there was no clouds. Wow. Let's move on to Wednesday. Are you listening, Alex? Wednesday was 95 degrees. That was very hot. 95. And let's draw a big sun. 95 degrees. There was no wind, there was no rain, and there was no cloud coverage on Wednesday. Oh, you like to eat ice cream on hot days? Yes, I do too. Thursday. On Thursday, we have a cumulonimbus cloud. So it says that it was 70 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and put 70 degrees. That's not too hot, but it's not too cold either. It was pretty nice that day, right? And there was not much sun. So we're not gonna go ahead and draw a sun. Was it windy? Yes, it was windy. Was there rain? No, there was no rain, but we did see a huge cloud that we've talked about, right? So we are gonna, like I said, you can draw or write the word. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw the picture of the cloud we saw, okay? What about, we saw on Monday it was 75, then Tuesday 80, then 95 on Wednesday, and then 70 on Thursday. But we saw a big cloud with rain. So we did have rain. So let's go ahead and draw. We did have rain. Looking at this, I'm gonna go ahead and think. We see a pattern right here. Nice, starting to get warm, hot, and then it got a bit nice again. But we see rain and we see the big cloud we talked about. Based on what we see, I need to think, what's gonna happen on Friday? Is it gonna be cold? Is it gonna be hot? Is it gonna rain? So on Friday, it was raining. So 65 degrees. It's a big cloud with rain. And there was no wind. So I see a pattern. Sometimes it will be predictable, sometimes it won't. But we need to be on the lookout to see how is it outside, to observe, use our eyes to observe, to see what temperature and how the day will go. If we need boots or shoes, or we need coats or sweaters or a raincoat. What is a weather journal? On the video, a weather journal is for us to record our information. And I have one right here that we will be using, all right? Then, describe a pattern she mentioned on the video. Allison, what was the pattern? Great job. What is a meteorologist? A meteorologist is a person that records the weather and investigates more about the weather. And then we talked about what was a thermometer. A thermometer is to check the temperature, right? Like the one I have right here. For how many days should I record a pattern? So now that we've discussed the questions from the video, you might ask yourself, well, Ms. Martinez, why do we need to know this? Well, we need to know this information because if we record the weather, we will be able to predict the pattern, therefore allowing us to decide on whether what we can do if going outside or not. We can decide about what clothes to wear, if we need rain boots, if we need a coat. This will help us have track of the weather. So now that we've talked about how to record the information on a weather chart, it's your turn now. And you will be working with partners. And hold on, Lucia. You will be working with partners, and I will give you some cards where, just like mine, they had the information from several weeks ago. And you will be recording them on this construction paper, okay? So you will fold it in 8 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you will write out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then on the middle, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and write, just like I did on mine, on the top. What's the temperature, the wind condition, if it rained, and the cloud coverage, okay? After you do that, from each index card on each box, you will end up here. On this side, I want you to see what is the pattern you see here, okay? Then, once, like I said, one will be for one of you, and then the other one will be for your partner, okay? Did everyone understood that? Okay. After you're done completing this, I will give you an index card, blank, where you will write what is a favorite experience you've had. And if you can recall the weather, what was the weather like? Was it cold? Was it hot? Was it rainy? of what you remember. So if it's your most favorite thing or experience that has happened to you that you recall, you should know. You should know how is the climate. So I want you to go ahead and do that for me, okay? Once you're done, I want you to raise your hand. We should not be talking across with other classmates. You should just be having a conversation with your partner, and I will be walking around to make sure that everyone is working on what they're supposed to be doing, okay? Now, I will pass them out. Or you know what? Let me have Amy, since you've been very good today, very participative. I will give you the flashcards to pass them out. Here you go. Now, let me have Carlos. You go ahead and pass out the construction paper. Remember, guys, to fold it in half. And let's go ahead and use our pencils for this, okay? No, I don't want to see no crayons, no glue, no scissors. We don't need anything of that, okay? And you can always look, if you have a question, you can raise your hand and ask me, or you can come up the board and look at my weather chart, okay? Remember, you can either write or draw a picture, okay? And if you write the word, I will actually give you more bonus points, okay? And after you have done, remember, raise your hand so I can give you your index card. And then we will move on, okay? I will begin walking around. Okay, guys, as I am walking around, I'm seeing some friends that are not writing vocabulary words that we've used. So I want you to go ahead and remember to put vocabulary words on your chart, okay? On your weather chart. I want you to put vocabulary that we've seen. If you need to know how to spell it, if you want to know how to spell it, you can always come up to the board, okay? And as I'm passing out the index cards, remember to put in the back of your chart both you and your partner's name. And on the index card, put your name only, okay? And then remember, this you're going to have to write on the index card and try to relate to a favorite experience, okay? A favorite experience that describes the weather of that day. And make sure to at least have 2 sentences, okay? Remember the punctuation that we've talked about, the grammar, okay? Revise and edit. We've discussed this, you guys. I want you to think about what we've learned and put it in practice, okay? I will continue to go around and pass out the flashcards. Sorry, the index cards, okay? Okay, now that everyone is finished, I want you to go ahead and clean up everything and come back to the carpet. Come on, come on. We shouldn't be talking. Allison. Good job, Jerusalem, for being quiet. Okay, now let's think of what we've done, what we've learned, what we've practiced with working on our weather chart, okay? I really loved how some of you did. You did excellent job, okay? Now, thinking of what we've done, I want you to go ahead and tell me, what have we learned today, okay? We're going to finish up our KWL chart. So I need you to raise your hand. No shouting. Raise your hand and tell me, what have we learned today, okay? So let me go ahead. Since, Allison, go ahead and tell me, what did you learn today? Yes, you learned how to record weather. Great job. How to record weather. What else? I need 2 more things. Clarissa, what did we learn today?
We learned, okay, yes, about the thermometer. What else? What about the thermometer? Meteorologists use it, yes. Let me ask you a question. Can you be a meteorologist? Yes, why? Let me see. Carlos, why we can also be a meteorologist? Yes, because we can also observe with our eyes to see outside. How is the weather? And we can predict by looking at the day, how will the following day might be? Will it always be the same? Will it always be a consistent pattern? No, it will not. Sometimes you will have a cold day and then, you might have a hot day and then all of a sudden the next day is so cold that we need a jacket, right? We've seen those kind of days. That's why, remember, on the book it said, it will not always be correct. If you hear it on the TV, it will not always be correct, okay? So now that we've talked and completed our KWL, I will go ahead and ask you to go back to your desk. I will go ahead and give you a exit ticket with 3 questions, okay? The questions are, write down 4 different kinds of weather. Another question, why is it important to know about the weather? And the last question, how do patterns help weather scientists predict the weather? Okay, so we should be working on this individually, no talking, and it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes and that's it. I will pick them up and we will move on to what's next, okay? Okay, guys, time's up. Now go ahead and pass them forward to me and I will gather them all together up here at the front, okay? And I want you to go ahead and start packing up and I want you to line up and I'm gonna go ahead and give you some homework for today besides of the other homework you already have, okay? I will give you a weather booklet to each of you, okay? And I will also give you a thermometer, okay? Now listen to what you're gonna do. I'm gonna give you a thermometer, a weather booklet. Are you listening? And I want you to record the weather for 1 whole week, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and write Monday and go ahead and tell me, how is the weather? You can write it and I want you to use the thermometer I'm giving you to see the temperature, okay? I recommend you that you do it at a specific time every single day, okay? For a whole week. So it's gonna be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, okay? I will give you Sunday off just because Miss Martinez is very nice, okay? So I want you to record the temperature. First of all, write the date, the temperature. Is it windy or not? Did it rain or not? Was it a lot or just a little bit? Sprinkles, okay? And look at the clouds. I want you to observe with your eyes. Remember, we're being meteorologists. Observe the clouds and look, how was it? You can write it, you can draw it. Remember, if we practice to write, and I see writing on your booklet with your handwriting, not your mommy's, not your daddy's, not your brother's, your handwriting. Remember, Miss Martinez knows already your handwriting by now, okay? If I see it, I will give you more bonus points or dojo points. What do you say? Deal? All right. So I want this at the end of next week. I want it back, and I want to be able to see that you were a meteorologist and you recorded the information. Okay? Once you are done recording all of the days, I want you to, at the end of Saturday, go ahead and look at each page, the pattern you saw, okay? And think. And you can go ahead and write some sentences. On Monday, it was sunny. Then this on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday. On Thursday, it was like this. But Friday turned out like this, okay? Whatever the weather is as it comes up, you will go ahead and write it. As you see it, you will write it over here, okay? So try it so you can see if there is a pattern or if it's inconsistent or what's happening, okay? But remember, most important, I want you to be a meteorologist and record your information. You can write my weather booklet and your name down here, okay? And so when you give it back to me, I know it's from you and I can give you points, okay?